Let us begin at the very beginning of the day. The moment your eyes open, that space between rest and activity holds great potential. It is not a time to rush. It is not a time to check the world before you have checked within yourself. The first few minutes of your morning are sacred. How you begin will echo through the rest of your day. If you start with chaos, the mind will follow chaos. If you begin with awareness, the body and mind will remember balance. So I invite you, before the noise, before the distractions, before the list of things to do begins pulling at you, to simply sit up, place your feet gently on the floor and take one deep breath. That breath alone is life choosing you once again. That breath is proof that you are still part of this great unfolding. And in that awareness, the practice begins. Start by moving, not forcefully, not like an athlete rushing to conquer a finish line. Move like water, like a tree waking from stillness. Gentle rotations of the neck. Shoulders rolled slowly back and then forward. Fingers stretched open and then relaxed. Ankles rotated. Toes wiggled. These are simple movements, but they speak loudly to your body. To your body. I am awake. I am present. I am here. Movement is the first gift you offer your physical self each day. As we grow older, the body needs encouragement. It does not respond to commands. It responds to care. Every joint, every muscle, every ligament still wants to serve you. But they must be reminded that they are still needed, still loved, still part of the whole. And the way you remind them is with slow, intentional motion. Some people believe that aging means slowing down, that stiffness and pain are inevitable. This is not entirely true. What is true is that the body becomes what you tell it to become, not with words, but with behavior. If you sit in stillness all day, the body will become still. If you offer no flexibility, the joints will become rigid. If you stop reaching, the spine will curl in. But if you greet each day with motion, small, consistent, devoted, your body will continue to move with you. In Shaolin tradition, we do not see movement as something separate from the mind. Every movement is also a form of mental alignment. When you stretch your arms up, you expand not only your spine, but your capacity for openness. When you fold forward, you learn humility. When you balance, you train your focus. When you hold stillness between movements, you practice patience. The body speaks in gestures, not in words, but the mind understands. You do not need to be flexible to begin. You do not need to be strong. You only need to show up for yourself. 10 minutes in the morning, that is all. 10 minutes of moving your body with kindness and clarity. Over time, that 10 minutes becomes a signal. Your breath deepens. Your blood circulates with more ease. Your heart rate finds its rhythm. Your nervous system settles. You become more resilient, not just physically, but emotionally. Even more important, this movement in the morning is an act of claiming space. You are not rushing into your day for others. You are not waking only to fulfill tasks. You are reminding yourself that your body is still yours, still alive, still capable, still connected to something greater than routine. So often I meet women who feel like their bodies are working against them. They say, I feel heavy, I feel stiff, I feel tired. And my question is always the same. How do you greet your body each morning? Why? Because if the first thing your body feels is pressure or judgment or neglect, how can it respond with vitality? But if the first thing your body feels is attention and movement and breath, it remembers how to be alive. There is no need for complex exercises. You do not need a gym. You do not need equipment. All you need is the willingness to move with presence. The rest will follow. When you wake tomorrow and every day after, move like you are introducing yourself to your own body again, with gratitude, with curiosity, with reverence. The morning belongs to you. Let your body know you are listening. After the body has moved, after you have honored its need to awaken slowly, the next act of care is just as simple, yet just as vital. It is the act of drinking water, not as a task, not because someone told you to, but as a ritual of connection to life itself. Water, more than anything else, is what we are made of. Every cell in your body relies on it. Every function, digestion, circulation, memory, energy depends on it. And yet so many people begin their mornings without. They wake up, rush into the world, drink coffee, eat quickly, and wonder why they feel tired before the day has truly begun. But I ask you to imagine this instead. You wake, you move with grace and intention, and then you sit quietly with a glass of water in your hands. Not cold, not filled with ice, just warm or room temperature, gentle on the body, easy to receive. You take a slow sip, not to quench thirst, but to offer something back to the body that has served you through the night. During sleep, the body is repairing, detoxifying, breathing, sweating, processing. All of this requires water. So by the time you open your eyes in the morning, you are already in a state of depletion. You are already running low. And the first thing you choose to consume, that is what will set the tone for the hours to come. Water, first thing in the morning, does not just hydrate the body. It wakes up the organs. It cleanses the system. It prepares your digestive fire so that anything you eat after can be received with more ease. You may notice your skin looking clearer. You may feel less bloated. You may find that your thoughts arrive with less fog. For some women, especially after 65, there is a subtle fear that the body is no longer working as it once did, that metabolism slows, that energy fades. But often, what is fading is not life force, but the habits that once supported it. And hydration is one of the most overlooked. When the body is thirsty, it slows everything down. The joints become tight, the muscles ache, the brain becomes sluggish. Even the heart must work harder because the blood is thicker. But when you give water to the body with intention, you are saying, I want to flow, not to push, not to fight, but to flow as nature intended, as rivers do, as breath does. Some people add lemon to their morning water, others add a pinch of salt or a dash of honey. These are ancient practices, and they can be useful. Lemon stimulates digestion and helps the liver do its work. A touch of salt can support minerals and adrenal function. But even without additions, plain water, when consumed with mindfulness, is powerful. Let this be a morning ceremony. Do not drink standing up. Sit, breathe. Hold the glass with both hands as if it is sacred, because in many ways it is. This water connects you to the sky where the rain falls, to the ground where it gathers, to the journey it made to reach your hands. Everything you need for life, for energy, clarity, healing, begins with this act. And this is not just for the physical body. This is for the mind too. There is something symbolic about water. It teaches us to release, to soften, to stop clinging. If you hold it tightly, it slips through your fingers. If you try to control its direction, it pushes back. But if you learn to trust it, it will carry you where you need to go. So, what is your relationship with water? Do you see it as something ordinary? Or can you begin to see it as medicine, as nourishment, as a way to return to balance each day? For women after 65, there is a deeper invitation. Not just to live longer, but to live with more awareness. That means not just doing what needs to be done, but doing it with presence. Drinking water becomes a meditation. It becomes a form of listening to your body, to your rhythm, to your needs. If you forget during the day, forgive yourself. Return to it tomorrow. Keep the glass by your bedside if needed. Let the sun rise and let your first act be one of quiet replenishment. Because before the food, before the tasks, before the obligations, the body simply asks, will you give me what I need to thrive? And you have the power to answer every single morning. Now that the body has moved and the inner river of water has begun to flow again, the next offering you make to yourself is nourishment. Not just to fill the stomach, but to feed life itself. The morning meal is not something to rush. It is not something to ignore. After hours of fasting through the night, your body is like soil ready to receive. What you place into it will shape not only your energy, but your emotions, your clarity, and your ability to meet the world with balance. For many people, breakfast has become either an afterthought or a trap. Some reach for whatever is fast: toast, processed cereal, sugary pastries, things that come in plastic or are eaten standing up. Others skip it entirely, either by habit or by a belief that eating less is a way to control weight. But what is missed in both approaches is this: the body is always listening. It notices whether you treat food as fuel or as wisdom. When you choose a breakfast that is calm, whole, and natural, you are telling your body, I care about how you function today. You are giving it not just calories, but information. Food is instruction. It teaches the body how to respond, how to repair, how to protect itself. And after 65, when the systems of the body are more sensitive, more precise, this becomes even more important. So, what should breakfast look like? It is not about rules. It is about principles. A nourishing breakfast is one that contains balance, fiber to support digestion, protein to rebuild and stabilize, healthy fats to nourish the brain, and natural sugars from fruit or grains that provide gentle energy without crashing the system. A bowl of warm oats with walnuts, chia seeds, and blueberries. A slice of whole grain bread with avocado and a boiled egg. Greek yogurt with pumpkin seeds and sliced pear. These are simple combinations, but they speak loudly to the body. They say, you are not starving, you are supported. You can begin the day with strength. What we want to avoid, especially in the morning, are foods that spike and drop our blood sugar, foods that are stripped of their original form. White bread, sugary drinks, sweetened cereals, these enter the bloodstream too quickly. They create a burst of energy, but that energy is not sustainable. After an hour or two, the crash comes, and with it, fatigue, irritability, or hunger that feels urgent and uncomfortable. This cycle is not just inconvenient. Over time, it can wear down the body's systems. It can affect the heart, the liver, the brain. But when you choose to nourish yourself wisely in the morning, your body begins to regulate itself. Your hunger becomes more steady. Your mood stabilizes, your thinking becomes more clear, and you begin to understand that the way you feed yourself is the way you teach your body how to live. This is not only about nutrients, it is also about attention. Most people eat while doing something else, reading, watching, planning, worrying. They eat while the mind is scattered. But the body digests not only the food, it digests the energy you bring to the meal. So let your morning meal be a quiet one. Sit down, no screens, no rush, just you and the food. Smell it, taste it, be grateful for it. Monday, grateful for it. In that moment, you are not just eating, you are participating in the cycle of life. And if you think this is small, I tell you, it is not. It is revolutionary to choose real food, to choose presence, to choose nourishment instead of numbness. This is how we live longer. Not by chasing youth, but by respecting what life truly needs. As we grow older, the body asks for less, but it asks for better. Better quality, better timing, better awareness. When you start your day with nourishment that is both physical and mindful, you are giving yourself one of the most powerful tools for longevity. I have seen women in their 70s and 80s with more energy than some in their 40s. Not because they are special, but because they pay attention. They do not skip meals. They do not eat from boxes. They treat food like medicine, and they eat with joy. This is the path. The body is always doing its best to support you. Every heartbeat, every breath, every repair that happens inside you while you sleep, it does not ask for much, but it does ask that you return the favor, that you support it in return. And what you eat in the morning is one of the clearest ways to do that. So tomorrow, when the light returns, and you have already moved, and you have already hydrated, take time. Choose something alive. Choose something whole. And as you eat, remember, you are not just feeding your body, you are feeding your future. Once your body has moved, once you have replenished your inner waters, and once you have taken in food that brings you strength and clarity, there remains one more space to care for. Perhaps the most important of all, your mind. The morning is not only a time to prepare the body, it is also the doorway through which the mind enters the world. And the state of your mind when you walk through that doorway determines how the rest of your day will unfold, not just in what you do, but in how you feel as you do it. For many women after 65, life begins to shift. Children may be grown. Work may no longer fill the hours. The rhythm of each day becomes quieter, and in that quiet, the mind can either become still or it can become restless. Sometimes, even without knowing it, a person begins to carry thoughts that are heavy, thoughts of regret, of fear, of time slipping away. But those thoughts are not the truth. They are simply patterns that have never been examined. This is why the morning is so important. Because in the first minutes of each day, your mind is still soft, still open, still able to be shaped. Before the world begins to speak, before the phone rings, before the news starts, before anyone asks you to be anywhere, you have a chance to decide what kind of energy you want to carry. Start with stillness, just a few minutes. Sit with your back upright, close your eyes, listen to your breath. You do not need to force the thoughts to go away. You do not need to reach for peace. You only need to watch. The mind, like a wild animal, will move in many directions. But when you give it space to settle, it slowly returns to the present moment. And in that moment, you find something that cannot be touched by age or circumstance: awareness. This awareness is the root of all strength. When you are aware, you are no longer controlled by habit. You no longer react blindly to every feeling or memory. You begin to choose. You begin to respond from stillness, not from fear. and that changes everything. In these morning moments, you can also practice gratitude, not as a forced exercise, but as a real reflection. Sit quietly and ask yourself, what is here right now that I can be thankful for? The breath in your lungs, the light in the room, the quiet, the fact that you have lived to see another day. These are not small things. These are treasures. Gratitude softens the nervous system. It opens the heart. It reminds you that life is still happening for you, not to you, and it does not matter what is missing or what has changed. What matters is what remains. What matters is what you can touch, heal, and hold in this very moment. If you prefer writing, you may keep a small journal. Not for long entries, just a few lines. Write what you are grateful for. Write what you intend for the day. Not a list of tasks, but a feeling. Today, I choose calm. Today, I choose compassion. Today, I choose presence. These words become a compass. And even if the day brings challenge, you can return to that compass again and again. Some people pray in the morning. Others meditate. Others simply breathe with their hand on their heart. The form is not important. What matters is the commitment to begin the day by looking inward rather than being pulled outward. Because the world is loud. It always has been. And if you do not claim your morning, the world will take it. It will fill your mind with worries that are not yours. It will compare you to others. It will tell you that your worth is based on doing. But in this practice, you learn the truth that your worth is in being, in awareness, in awareness, in the quiet strength of presence. I have met many women who ask, what is my purpose now? And I say, your purpose is to be at peace within yourself, not to prove, not to strive, but to live with wisdom and kindness. And when you begin each morning with the mind aligned, that peace becomes your foundation. You do not need long hours. Even 5 minutes is enough. 5 minutes of silence, of reflection, of breath, and over time, those 5 minutes will extend into your whole day. You will begin to move more mindfully, speak more gently, feel more connected. And when the heart and mind are at peace, the body follows. Stress softens, sleep improves, digestion calms, relationships become easier. This is not philosophy, this is practice. And the practice begins always in the morning. So when you wake and the light meets your eyes, take time not just to care for the body, but to center the mind, because a calm mind is the most powerful medicine you can offer yourself. Let the first voice you hear each morning be your own.